Hey Eopic, how are you? I see you're online at the moment, so let's discuss things. I see you're writing part one of a few parts of comments. So basically, I'll read that whenever that goes up. I've just put a comment on that first part already, and basically your comment was you still do not get it, and you start saying things you do not know anything about. And so, if I still don't get it, please, it's your part to play to make me get it. You know, if you think that I don't get it, then then please type something in so I'll start to get it. But personally, I think I get it. I know, in fact, the amount of when I was talking about transsexual stuff before, like last year, I was doing it quite a lot like I'm doing it now, and I got the same kind of, I have to say, well, I won't say it, but I got the same comments and the same kind of attitude and the same kind of like, no, you just don't get it vibe. And what I wrote in my message back to you was, yeah, if mankind wasn't separated by one line, male on one side and female on the other, then I think you would realise how together in this we actually are. And when you say that most intersexuality are that you basically say that intersexuality and trans issues are not exactly the same, and they aren't exactly the same. But I'll tell you what is the same with intersexuals and with transsexuals is gender identity issues. For most people, they don't feel that they can be treated as the sex that they look like, even if they look like the sex, because their genitals or their body image or something about them of their intersexuality, is in niggling at their brain, and so actually, but not all intersex people have that. But you could technically say not all transsexuals have that either. Some people just want to look the way they want, and I think I said that very clearly in that 11-minute video. What else you say on your comment to me that I want to talk about? With the whole thing, maybe. You start saying things you do not know anything about. I see you have such a narrow view and one-dimensional that is almost almost crazy, and you never listen to what anyone has to say first. Well, the point is, I actually do listen, but maybe I'm not getting it on your level. Now, I'm not getting angry with you. I'm just getting frustrated on the situation, because I can't stand when I open up the whole thing into discussing the nitty-gritty of transsexualism from somebody who, technically speaking, is not labelling themselves as a transsexual, so is not a transsexual. I am not a transsexual. I probably never will be a transsexual. I certainly won't be part of a transsexual group, because I certainly wouldn't believe that me being an XXY person is ever going to ever be able to transition from an XXY into any of the available sexes, because I simply am not one or the other. I am in the middle. That's the way it is for me. And I think that's the way it is for a lot of people who put themselves under the category of transsexualism or transsexuals, because they don't realise of the other groups. And I'm glad, Epoch, that you're talking about the transition and intersexuality is not transsexuality and intersexuality is not the same thing, because too many intersex people are sick of the fact that transsexuals are mixed up, confused in the heads of the normal people as being one of the same, and they're absolutely not the same. But again, all these groups, as I said in the last video, I mean, it's ridiculous to be segregating us all into totally crazy categories, but we can't possibly call XY males normal or XX females normal. We can't. You know, there is no thing, so it's ridiculous. I know it's also ridiculous if we have no categories. I also know that. So that's the thing of life, you know, like weighing it up. What will we take from this and what will we take from this, you know, and have a bit of balance. But at the moment, you see, transsexuals, I'm just pointing out the nitty-gritty points of transsexualism. The fact that so many people understand that there are transsexuals in the world more than they understand what an intersex person is, you know, the fact that they know more about transsexuals these days, and they kind of can accept that people are going to change their sex, right? Because then there's nothing changed. People are going to change from the male to the female or the female to the male. We'll still just have males and females in the eyes of the people, which is in reality wrong. It's just so obviously wrong. I mean, cannot the transsexual community look at intersex and say, well, they're not male or they're not female, or let's say that they are looking male or female, but some of them are hermaphrodites, some of them are androgynous looking. You don't know what sex they are. And what about those people? Are those people to suffer? Are the androgynous people to suffer simply because it is available to get your sex changed, essentially? But it's not, it's, you know, the androgynous person is not going to feel great about that, because they look totally in the middle of the sexes, the androgynous looking people, you know. I know what that feels like, because I was androgynous looking myself for so long, you know. Me taking testosterone, for an example, is actually a transition in itself from my natural state of XXY being into a more testosterone-filled body that wasn't meant to produce it in the first place, because I was born this way, and taking testosterone made facial hair happen, and maybe lowering of voice in areas, do you know? That's a transition itself. So technically you could call me a transsexual. So on a level I do get slightly insulted, but not in a bad way. I don't take it badly, and I don't think the person's a prick because they insulted me. I just think that, well, I feel insulted sometimes when people think, hey, don't involve yourself in transsexual issues because you're not one, you don't understand, you just don't get it. Excuse me, but I do get it, because in many levels I am transsexual, you know, and you maybe don't get it because you're not intersex, you know, you don't have the ingrained total feeling. But it's not about pointing the finger and saying you don't understand me, so fuck you. And it's not about you saying, Gavin, you don't get it about transsexuals, so fuck you. It's about, Gavin, you don't get about transsexuals, so get it. This is the point. I'll give you the points. And I'm saying, well, you don't get it about what I'm saying about we're all people. You know, so we're just talking, arguing, heated discussions. Right now I could call this a heated discussion, absolutely. But it's necessary, you know, and I'm willing to do it. But I don't feel that most people are willing to go into these nitty-gritty areas, and especially with somebody like me, because you obviously are not taking me seriously. You just think I'm somebody who sits in the room and whatever, does whatever. I mean, I can only say that I've been off my testosterone for 2 years, and my brain is scatty as hell. My thoughts are quite negative, and yeah, I mean, quite consistently over the last 6 or 7 days, I have been thinking to myself, will I just end it now? You know, but I know in myself that I'll never ever do something like that, you know, but I still feel it. Okay, so people can I'm sorry about that, okay, but people can still feel for people who have something if they don't have the condition, you know. And I am not against transsexuals. I'm not against people transitioning. I'm just more for this whole thing. Go and do what you want, but don't just fit into a section that is not made for you, but just you squeeze into it anyway, and you kind of get in there and you can be in the section, whilst other people won't ever be in that section because they are androgynous looking, you know. They're never going to be fitting into that same box of I'm a male or I'm a female, you know. And so I don't like that mentality in people in general. I think it's a worldwide feeling and general energy you know, I mean, we've been watching so much greed anyways for so long, and people are taking advantage of people all the time, and to be rich in this world, nearly you have to step on people, you know, and that's the mentality. It's sick, and I want to change that around. You pick the last thing I want to say to you is that, you know, if you think I'm not listening, then why would I be possibly doing video responses to people like you, or to just in general anybody? You know, I am listening, but what am I hearing? You know, like maybe it's the other way around. I'm hearing, but I'm not listening. But I think I'm listening. So if I'm not getting what I'm supposed to be listening to, then maybe, especially for an XXY, give me other mediums to get the same information from, and maybe then I'll see what you're seeing. But don't get angry with me, please, for not seeing what you see. And equally, I'll try not to get angry with you. Okay. Peace.